Hello, I'm Jenny Kassan. I'm the queen of helping you get your business funded and doing it on your own terms. And today I wanted to share the 6 steps that I talk about when I talk about how to design your fundraising strategy. So for those who don't know me, I'm an attorney and coach for entrepreneurs that are raising money. And I started doing this work way back in 2006. And I've helped probably hundreds of entrepreneurs raise money. I've raised money myself several times for my own businesses. And over the years, I've seen patterns and what it really helps to have in place before you even start talking to potential investors. And so I developed this 6-step process. I wrote about it in my book, which is called Raise Capital on Your Own Terms: How to Fund Your Business Without Selling Your Soul. And people often ask me, like, what are these 6 steps? So without me having to read your book, I'd like to know what your 6 steps are. And I do also want to say that calling them steps is a little bit inaccurate because it makes it sound like a linear process, that if you just go through these 6 steps, you will have your plan for raising money. But what I've found is that it's really almost like 6 pillars that you want to be building probably all at the same time. You'll be focusing on one, and then that'll give you an idea for another one, and then you may go back to another one. So it's really 6 pillars or pieces of the puzzle that the more you spend time really getting those clear in your mind, the easier it'll be once you actually go out and start raising money. So step 1, we call get clear on your goals and values. And this is the one where you really think about what you want for your business. The way you raise money should really be consistent with what's important to you in your business. There are so many stories of entrepreneurs who raise money from investors and end up getting pushed to do things they don't want to do with their business. And that's just, I honestly believe that it's better not to raise money at all than for that to happen. Because, having a business is not the easiest thing in the world. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. And so if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in a way that's going to really make you happy and fulfill your dreams and your goals and your vision and what you want to do in the world, what the impact you want to make. So this is the step where you really get clear on what's important to you. What are your long-term plans for the business? What are your non-negotiable values, things that you just wouldn't want to compromise? And then also, more practically speaking, what are your financial projections? What do you see happening over time with your business in terms of revenues, expenses, profit? And it's absolutely fine if it takes quite a while for you to break even and make a profit. That's absolutely normal. That's exactly why you need to raise money to cover those expenses in the early years as you're working on building a sustainable business. So that's step 1, getting clear on your goals and values. Step 2 is identifying your ideal investors. And this step is where we really encourage people to think outside the box about who your potential investors might be. Every time I've raised money myself and I've helped others raise money, probably about 90% of the people who end up investing are not people that would really self-identify as investors. So there's a very small group of people in the United States that would identify as investors. And these are people who are active angels. They're maybe part of some kind of an angel group. There are people who, maybe have invested in a few startups. They're involved in different organizations of people like angel groups or other organizations that invest in startups. There are people who manage funds, like VC funds or other kinds of investment funds. There are people who manage money for organizations or individuals, wealthy families. So these are people who, if you ask them what they do on a regular basis, investor might be one of the first words they come up with. But 99.7% of the people who are investors in the United States don't self-identify as investors, and they wouldn't be on any list of investors. They wouldn't have the word investor in their LinkedIn profile. So we really encourage people to think outside the box, especially if you're at a fairly early stage. You have a much better chance of being successful if you get creative and open-minded about who your ideal investors might be. And when you're thinking about who they might be, they're very likely to be people who just really are share your vision of what you see as important, the issue that your business is trying to address. The people who care about that same issue are going to be people who are very likely to want to invest in your business. Step 3 is deciding what to offer to your investors. So this is sometimes called your term sheet. And some people will say, oh, don't have a term sheet, let the investors tell you how they want to invest. But I think that couldn't be further from the right way to do it, because if you set the terms of the investment, you're going to make sure that the way your investors come in and the commitments that you make to them and the legal agreement that you have with them is consistent with what's important to you, and that everyone's on the same page. You're not having people have expectations that are not consistent with what you want to do with your business. So this is where we get into a lot of details on the design of your offering. It could be equity, it could be debt, it could be a convertible instrument, and within those there's really an infinite number of options. So I love to help people think through which option is going to be the best fit for what you want to do with your business and is going to be attractive to your ideal investors. Step 4 is understanding your legal compliance obligations, because when you're raising money from investors, you are going to have to deal with securities law, state and federal securities law. And these are the laws that govern what you're allowed to do when you are looking for investors. And what we love to help people do is understand all the different options that are available under securities law. So within securities law, there's many different choices that you have. And what you choose is going to depend on who your ideal investors are, where they are, if you want a lot of small investors or maybe just a few, if you want people to be able to invest regardless of their level of wealth and income, or if you'd rather limit it to just wealthier people. There's so many different options available. So just knowing what those options are, picking one, and then sticking to it so that you are doing your raise in compliance with the law. Step 5 is your investor enrollment strategy, and this is the strategy you use to actually get investors to say yes. And this also includes anything that you might prepare to show to potential investors. And this will also somewhat vary depending on what investors you're targeting, what compliance strategy you're using, but in a way it's actually going to be similar regardless of those things, because it all comes down to having conversations with people who might be interested in investing and getting really comfortable with doing that. And then step 6 is dealing with any mindset issues that could come up along the way that could make your fundraising difficult. I used to not emphasize this step, but I've seen so many situations where the mindset and the limiting beliefs, and it's happened to me as well, were the thing that actually led to the fundraising taking a lot longer than it should, or even people really failing to raise money. Not so much because they didn't have an awesome business, they didn't have an awesome offering, but more because they just had some limiting beliefs get in the way of their ability to actually go out and talk to investors and get investors to say yes. So those are the 6 steps. I will summarize them. Number 1, get clear on your goals and values. Number 2, identify your ideal investors. Number 3, decide what to offer. Number 4, choose your legal compliance strategy. Step 5, design your investor enrollment strategy. And step 6, address mindset obstacles that might come up. So I hope that was helpful. I do go into a lot more detail about these steps in various places. We are planning a 3-day training. We're going to take a really deep dive into all of these steps and how to design your strategy. We take you through these 6 steps so that you have your plan for how to raise money from investors in a way that really fits what's important to you. And this is going to be November 2nd to 4th. It's a virtual event, and you can sign up at jennykassan.com/fundit. jennykassan.com/fundit. It's a 3-day training. We're going to have awesome guest speakers. opportunities to meet people, get coaching, a really awesome workbook that's going to let you really get into the nitty-gritty of what you want to do when it comes to raising money for your business. So we hope to see you there. And in the meantime, please continue to follow me on YouTube and like my video if you like it, to spread the word about what we're doing. All right, thank you. Bye.